is called tawaf in Arabic, and when you finish that up, then you will go over and do the sa'i between Safa and Marwa, and then that's pretty much it. Well, I forgot you got to pray 2 rak'ah there over near Ibrahim Station, but that's pretty much it. It's not very difficult. It's the 7 circumambulations, then the 7 crossings between Safa and Marwa. These are 2 mountains, by the way, where if you know the story of Hajj or Hagar in the Bible, when she was left out there by Abraham, she went looking for somebody to help them because they had no food or water, and she ran up one, and then she ran up the other, and each time she would look and didn't find anything, and she prayed each time when she got up there, and that's the prayers that we still do when we do that. But one of the things that's good for you to think about is, believe it or not, is that chapstick for your lips. And a lot of people don't think about that. It's too late. I'm sure you can find it over there, but it's much handier to have your own. And this is so that non-fragrance, you don't want to have anything with fragrance, by the way. And then you can put that on there to keep your lips from chapping. And that's a very good thing to have. Another thing is soap. You might wonder, why would I take soap? Well, we started making soap, by the way. We make it and offer it at the masjid at the time of Hajj so people can have it that has no fragrance, no scent, no smell.
Right, so it's important, non-perfumed soap, take some... When I was out in Mecca, I noticed a lot of people with face masks. And it was after the SARS scare, and I thought, what's going on here? And some people said, look, there are so many bugs going around and people sneezing and coughing, you'll pick up something. And I just thought, oh, this is ridiculous. But I have to say, I went down with about 5 different types of bugs by the end of Hajj.
If anybody was going to get it, you would.
Well, and I just thought to myself, you know, why was I laughing at those people wearing the surgical masks, and how I wish I'd, you know, what a sensible idea it seemed.
It wasn't because of SARS, by the way.
No, I know.
They did it before. The first time I ever went, they had it. A lot of people. But people in Indonesia and other countries, they wear it a lot anyway. If you ever see the news things and it shows them, well, you've been in these countries. You know that a lot of people wear the mask and they think nothing of it.
It's like a surgical mask or a mask that a cyclist would wear for anti-pollution.
Or a painter when he's spraying paint.
So, I mean, have you...
Yeah, I carry that. Actually, I carry it with me all the time anyway. I never use it, but I have it in my baggage. I don't know why. But if I ever wanted it, I could have it and cover up my face mints with you. Now, I know that seems silly to mention. We would obviously be surprised how many times people get on that, oh, my passport, oh, my tickets, oh, my visa, oh, you know. And another thing is a document stating from your doctor, a notarized document that has been approved and probably usually sent into Saudi's embassy to start with, that says that you've had certain shots. Because if you're not cleared to go and health-wise, you get rejected for visa anyway. So you have to have all of that, though. And don't think, oh, well, I've already done that and this. I just take my passport and go. You need to have the documentation, proper documentation, whatever that means to you. Have your documentation and have it handy. One of the things I recommend is reach over and grab something. It's not a prop. This is real, by the way. You get a plastic bag, you know, with a zip thing on there, and put your stuff in the bag and zip. And that's a real good idea for any of your documents or something that you don't want to get wet or moist or something like that, because you're not going to be able to, for the man, that is, he's got nowhere to, no pockets.
I was going to say, where do you don't have a valise or a little wallet or anything to...
I recommend take a wife with you. It's always a good idea, because my wife carries everything. But seriously, and obviously that's not always practical, but yeah, and if you had a whole lot of stuff, I guess, well, look, Islam will allow you to have more wives if you had a whole lot of stuff, but that's another subject.
I'm not going to bite. I am not going to bite on that. Now then...
The belt, buddy belt. Come back to the subject. They can wear a money belt, what they call our document belt, that you can put underneath your towels and stuff.
That's permissible.
Yeah. Yeah, they have ruled on that. There's certain things about the money belt. You should try to get one that's made by a Muslim or a Muslim country or something where they know what the rules are about it, so that it's made properly, and they're riveted together, I think, instead of sewn, and sometimes they make exceptions, I don't know, but look into that with your local imam, what he tells you. Because different madhab have different little bit fine-tuning on some of the rulings. I recommend talk to your local imam on that. But that's, you got to have something to put your documents in, because obviously your wife can't be with you all the time. So you do have to have your, and that's what I was talking about, put your passport and stuff in a Ziploc, then put it in the money bag or whatever. By the way, we're on the subject of money bag. Be careful, because not everybody there is for Hajj. Be careful, because not everybody there is for the pleasure of Allah.
Why else would you go to Mecca?
Rip people off.
No.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I was there, I was warned, okay? So if you warn me ahead of time, I'm usually smart enough to figure it out. If you don't warn me, then I'm just like any other naive person. But I was warned, and not once, many times, be careful, be careful, be careful. There are people there who will rip you off. They'll come up to you with these stories. Oh, I need this, I need that. And sure enough, we saw it. A guy came up and he had this paper and he's telling us, my daughter's in the hospital and she needs an operation and we need so much money. He'd say, oh, well, I'll go down to the thing and talk to them. No, 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 it has to be money. I'm just get some cash, help me. Now look at the document he has, and it's saying Dr. So-and-so has approved an operation. As soon as he raises 16,000 reals, he can blah, blah, blah. And a brother that lives there, he said, excuse me, Sheikh, did you know that the hospitals here are free for the Hajjis? I said, what? He said, yeah, there's no way this guy's telling you the truth.
It's very difficult, though, isn't it? You're going out there, you're, you know, on a mission, on a pilgrimage, you're feeling spiritual, and you're wanting to have all the good qualities of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and somebody in need presents themselves in front of you.
And you're supposed to do it in Hajj. You're supposed to give charity, so
your
you want to do it.
Your desire is to help.
So it looks like, by the way, you would get a reward if you didn't know. You'd give reward, you'd get benefit back. Prophet ﷺ talked about that. Listen to this one. This is a hadith of Prophet ﷺ. And he was saying that somebody wanted to give charity. So he gave charity. And the next day it was said that somebody gave charity to a thief. Oh, but he still gave charity again the next day. And then it was said somebody gave charity to a prostitute. And he said, oh. And then he still gave charity. And then it was said the next day that, oh, somebody gave charity to a rich man. And he was trying to give his charity in you know, secrecy, etc. And so, but this was coming out to him, and he was understanding that it happened. But now look what the Prophet ﷺ explained. That the one who was the thief, when he got the charity, he realized, I don't need to steal. Everything comes from Allah. So he stopped stealing. The prostitute realized essentially the same thing. I don't need to do this. So she stopped her business and became a good lady. And so that charity helped her.
But what about the rich man? The
rich man, that's the best one. He realized that, hey, you know what? I need to be a lot more generous and stop being so stingy, because everything comes from Allah. So in each case, it increased the person's correct belief. So you, when you give your charity, you give from your heart and don't worry about what the other people are going to do with it. Do be careful with that, but at the same time, respect those who are there, who are trying to make a living. You might think, well, why don't they do it for Allah? Well, you could do a lot of stuff for Allah and never charge anything, just work all the rest of your life. You wouldn't live very long, you know. And some of them charge to push the wheelchairs, if you need a wheelchair to go around. And some of them will charge to take you someplace. Some will charge you for food. And these are normal things. As you get closer to the Hajj time, the price of wheelchairs is going to go up. And if you need to use that to get around there, then you expect to pay more, you know. But that's normal. That's how business works.
Now, what about any physical or mental preparations?
First of all, before you make the Hajj, as we already said, you need to make the intention for it. Making the intention for Hajj is a part of it. Without the intention, you don't have Hajj. And then what should I think about? One of the things that I always like to emphasize to myself and the students is the same, that we should always wear a garment all the time, whether in Hajj or not. And that garment is called taqwa. to have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, respect for Him, and be righteous in what we do. So we should be thinking about that, and thinking about that what I'm doing now is to please my Lord first and foremost. I'm not doing it for my wife. I'm not doing it for my friends. I'm not doing it to show off. I want to do it for Allah. I want Him to accept it. So that's what I would put as number one. As far as the rest of it, it's going to be the sequence of events. That's usually the problem most of us have. What do I do first? It's not just how to do it and so on, but what's first? What's the first thing I do? Well, the first thing you do when you check in, as you go through the process of getting into the country with a visa, is to find your group, because now you can't travel without a group. You got to have a group. Get with your group and then follow your emir or the mutawa, whoever is the one that's appointed there by the government for you, that's going to be with your group. And that person will begin to explain things to you. Now, if you speak English, you should be with a group that's an English group. They have it in English. The booklets and pamphlets, whatever they've got, are provided by the government. They're right there for you. It's in your language. And they have plenty of them. They have stacks of them. If you speak Urdu, they have it in Urdu. If you speak Thai, they have it in Thai. Whatever language, go with those people and stay with them and be sure you get proper instruction. I know a lot of times you want to run and see some friends, maybe you know from different places, and go visit and run around and do things. But try to remember that's not why you're there. It's not a social event. Although there's nothing wrong with socializing, there's nothing wrong with seeing your friends, hanging out, doing some things. But that's not your primary target. Primary target is to see about how close you can come to worshiping Allah on His terms. Because what happens is, in the Hajj, if you're successful, and this is what we should maybe have mentioned in the beginning, but we've been jumping all over. If you're successful in the Hajj, the Prophet ﷺ promises you Jannah. Successful Hajj, Mabrur, is nothing less than Jannah. That's the Prophet said.
How do you know?
Jannah is paradise. By the way, I forgot to mention, for those who don't know Arabic, that is the paradise.
But how do you know if you've been successful?
Well, that's the good part about Islam. You never know. That's the exciting part. Because no matter what you do, the show that we're doing right now,
well, it's not that
we hope Allah will accept this, yes? I'm doing this for Allah. That's why I'm here. That's why I come over to UK, the programs that we're doing and so on. I hope Allah will accept it, but I don't know if He will. You don't know if He will. So this is what keeps us on our toes. Day by day by day, we're saying, Allah, accept this from me. Allah, accept this from me. Allah, keep my intention pure for you and keep me in the right way. We're constantly saying that. That's good. Keep you on your toes.
Now then, I remember when I entered the Grand Mosque, my heart was racing as I walked to see the first sight of the Kaaba. Is there anything that you should say or do the moment you clap eyes on the Kaaba?
A lot of people think there is. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of strange things about that. But I was traveling with several imams, American imams at the time, and they basically explained that there's a lot of things people do, not necessarily based on Islam, but cultural things that they picked up over centuries and so on. You want to be careful of that. But I do remember this, just as you mentioned, that first time of seeing the Kaaba is something that is so breathtaking. Now, I was talking with my friends. We're walking along, and I'm joking around with them. And as I glanced through these pillars, there's so many pillars in there, by the way. It looks like a forest of marble. Did you notice that? So many of these pillars are in there, you know, and you're looking through them. And all of a sudden, I caught this little black something.
And it is ink black, isn't it?
It is black as ink, you're right. And I turned and I looked. And when I saw it, it was like I couldn't hear my friends anymore. And I saw this and I went, oh. I was just staring. And something just came over me. This is it. This is the place that Abraham and his son Ishmael built up. This is the place where Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam walked around this very same place. He spoke here. He taught here. And his companions also were here. And it starts getting overwhelming. You start, even now I'm getting goosebumps.
I know, I'm getting all tingly just thinking about it.
I remember one year I was there. And I was coming from the Kaaba. I had the Kaaba at my back. And by the way, there's some people think you have to back out. You can't put your back to it. That's also wrong. There's nothing about that. You can put your back to the Kaaba. No problem. I was going out. And as I was going out, a man was coming in, dressed in his ihram. And he got to a certain point, and he was looking down, you know, following where he's going on the steps on. And he looked up, and he saw it, and he went, Allahu Akbar. And he started praying right then and there. Now, some people think you're supposed to pray while looking at the Kaaba, that's the only place where you don't look down, that you look at the Kaaba. I researched it. It's not true. You look down there just like you do anywhere else. You don't look up at the Kaaba where you do Salah. And the only thing that you look other than where you're going to put your head is when you move your finger.